What is up guys, it's Jay-Z here and welcome back for another Godfall build video. Today we're looking at the new Breach build which I had teased a while back before the DLC was released. I'm happy that I held out on making the build video as the new cursed items and the new element system really make this build even better than what it was before. This build is super fun as your breach damage is so high you can breach all those pesky mid bosses in just 2 to 3 hits. It's super useful in fights since you can completely disable the bosses from attacking you and you can easily take them down after they have been breached. So let's get straight into the build. Now the weapons can be just about anything you want. Hammers and greatswords do the most breach damage in this game. Most importantly, we have to use a weapon with physical DPS on it so we can inflict bleed. It's really important and I will tell you why when we get to the augments. I am using this obsidian hammer. This hammer gives you overhealth per weapon take kill and it also gives you a time bubble ability. It's great to use if you find yourself getting overwhelmed. The overhealth gain is originally on the hammer Vasara. You should use this hammer if you don't have a good obsidian hammer. You can also use the new cursed hammer, the Hecta's Inferno, to get that cool spectral takedown primary effect. The one negative to that primary ability is that some enemies have a long takedown animation. So those 10 seconds go by very quickly without being able to perform it onto many enemies at once. Also, it has a 30-second cooldown now as well, so you can't keep spamming it. Still, it's a fun weapon to use if you wanted to. For your secondary, you can use anything you want. Since we are going for a bleed build, what better weapon to have than the Sword of Courage? This greatsword also works great for this build. For the amulet and one of the most important gear pieces for this build is that you have the Earth Minder's crest. Having this in Primal will really make a difference. I was super lucky that it dropped in Primal with added breach damage stats as well, so getting it like this will be super helpful for this build. For our charm, we're using the Methodist Star for fast weapon take charge as well as applying the Mark of Agility. Now for the rings, we are using one of the new cursed rings. We are using the Weird Ring. This will give us 100% bonus damage to bosses from our breach damage value. Since our final breach damage will be around 200%, so we'll be doing 200% extra damage to bosses, which is great. For the other ring, we are going to use the Dust Lord Signet for even more damage when we fight bosses. Also, attacking weak points does give a lot more breach damage, so this is also an important ring to have. Archon's Tear will be used for our Lifestone, and our banner will be the Mace's Banwell. Now let's take a look at the augments. This is the main reason why we are making this bleed build, is because of this augment. It's the Iron Band. We will do 130% more breach damage to bleeding enemies. With how easy it is to inflict ailments now, this augment is now really powerful to use, and especially in its primal version. Then we have Rubicon, another new cursed augment that was added into the game. We get more breach damage from this augment if your vitality value is above 3000. It is this value here. Since we have to go for more vitality than any other attribute anyway from our amulet stat, it should be no trouble to reach the requirement for this augment. Then we are using Glamour for added damage for each element on the enemies. For our last vitality augment, we are using Lion's Pride for some good overhealth per kill. For our one blue augment, we are using Warp, just so we can get out of sticky situations if you do find yourself overwhelmed. For our red augments, we are using Paradise, so we can get our weapon take charge faster when we get a crit. Then we have Focus to get overhealth on crits. Then we are using Iron Heart for more crit chance. We need as much crit chance as we can so we can use our weapon take faster and also get our overhealth faster as well. The final red augment we have is the Twilight Bloom, the one real damage dealer augment. On your vitality augments, go for physical damage, damage to bleeding enemies or ailment power. On at least 2 to 3 augments, make sure to have overhealth gain, otherwise this build will be very squishy. On our might augments, you can go for physical damage, weak point damage, weapon take damage or ailment power. Weak point and weapon take will work best for this build. Make sure that you have more vitality than any other attribute, otherwise your amulet will not work. Here is a look at our skill tree. Make sure to max out on all ailments and takedowns. If you don't max out on takedowns, then you will not be able to use the spectral takedown ability on your hammer if you are wanting to use it. Here is a look at the Ascension levels and powers if you are wanting to. That is it for the gear, everyone. This build is super fun and super helpful in both towers as well as Lightbringer. Especially in Lightbringer because you can breach everything. The final wave in Lightbringer is only mid-bosses, and since you have such a high breach damage, you can take them out of commission super quickly and not get overwhelmed. Your Sword of Courage works great as you can inflict bleed to multiple enemies at once with the projectiles, so you can then easily breach them all really fast as well. A great way to use the hammer is to start with the Northern Technique. Your Northern Technique stuns all enemies around you. You can then easily go in and use your heavy attacks to breach everyone. Just wildly swing your hammer and you can't lose. The times you will have trouble breaching enemies is when you are in the rooms where the mid-bosses grow stronger with each enemy that you kill. So be careful in these rooms as the bosses get super fast and your hammer is slow, so you will have to play carefully in those situations. Hope you enjoyed the build, guys. Comment down below what you all thought of it, and if you are planning to make any changes to it, I look forward to hearing from you all. I shall catch you all next time.